Hello.
Hi. Good morning or afternoon. Hello, everyone.
Just switched over. It can still be morning.
Yes.
Uh,
Good
I love
news.
your Best Fest appropriate fit.
Woohoo! Yeah, last minute
Very
for
cute.
sure, but we were finishing up design your own vest class last night, and so I have all of my vests just lined up in a row. And so I threw this on the over the old shorter all. It's kind of why not? I'm not going to be able to Me Made May much longer. I'm off to Hoosier Burn Camp soon, so might as well really go for it while we're
Yeah.
while I buy
End
all
it
my
with
Me
a
Mades.
bang. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
End it with a bang. Well, that's a really good place to start, I think, Laura, because you are leaving tomorrow
I
um,
am.
for volunteering at Hoosier Burn Camp. Did you want to just kind of fill people in if they haven't heard you speak about this before, though you have been doing it for
Yes,
many, many years at
I
this
have. I
point?
think it's been 8 years. And it is a medical specialty camp for kids that have been in Riley Hospital's burn unit in Indianapolis, Indiana, the only burn unit, pediatric burn unit in the state. And all the firefighters and all the counties come together and they raise funds for this camp every year. And it's more than just one week. There is a summer camp, and then there are programs. There's teen programs, there's kids programs, family programs all throughout the year. It's a really great organization, and I got involved because it's hosted at my summer camp that I went to growing up. It's hosted at Camp Tecumseh YMCA. And I got involved because one of my former co-counselors works for Hoosier Burn Camp, and I run the Creative Arts Center. Pause for surprise. But it's great. The kids are great. The volunteers are great, and I am really excited to be heading back for my maybe seventh year. That COVID made
Time.
keeping track real hard. I
Impossible.
know this is the
Impossible.
only circumstance in which that's the case, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for my week ahead. We are going to be doing rug tufting with a gun
I was just going
and
to
mosquito.
ask what's going on in the Creative Arts Center headed by Miss Laura.
Yeah,
Rug
we
tufting.
are. Last year, I talked camp into buying a tufting gun because I wanted to try it, and turns out I love it. And those Hoosier kids really, the way to get them involved in crafting is to introduce weaponry. So that is what we're up to. We're going to start with punch needle. We'll do it by hand day one, and then the big ta-da at the end of camp will be to use the tufting gun. So
Nice.
I'm excited, and it's a
And you
great
only,
way, selfishly. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you only really had one injury last year.
Yes. Whoops. And it wasn't even an injury. But we've learned we need to tuck our hoodie strings and we need to tie our hair back. That's what we learned. Um, no
You
harm,
could
no
just
foul.
suck
Those kids,
anything right into that gun. You
you
could just
could,
suck
like a
right
90
anything.
hair, perhaps. But then she had very stick straight hair. And then when it came out of the gun, it was a little ringlet, little women ringlet. That was a real low moment, and I really want to shout out one of my fellow volunteers whose job is to take pictures. He immediately put the camera down and was like, "You good here?" And I was like, "Thank you so much. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate you." Whoops. But on the whole, you can super duper trust our staff. The kids are in great hands. You learn the most from making a mistake, is
Yeah,
what I
just
always
getting
tell
in
my
there.
students.
Yeah, just getting in
So,
there, screwing it up. Yeah,
but it's always fun. It's been weather palooza out there. I'm sure no, all across the country.
yeah.
Storms are crazy,
Real
cicadas are
wild.
crazy. I don't know what the condition of camp's going to be, and I hear that the Tippecanoe River is quite high. But I'm going, and well, who knows? We'll make our own fun. But
Sounds
yes.
great, Laura. You will be missed around here, of course.
Oh, thank
Laura
you.
will be MIA for 1 week.
Hmm.
And then about 4 days after that, we're heading to Iceland
That's right.
for two retreats. So
That's right.
it's serious. Laura, are you saying goodbye to your beautiful apartment? Wrapping it up, hoping to see
Slowly.
it sometime in
Well,
July.
yeah, it really does. I love our business model. I love the life that we live, but it does really chat my ass to pay rent for a place and see it once a month. But That's all right. It's worth it. It's worth it. But
It's
I'm just like, I
holding
wish.
your belongings. It's holding your
Yeah,
belongings.
it's this very expensive storage unit, really.
Yeah.
But yes, I am getting ready to say goodbye to it. But of course, I'm doing the thing right up to the last minute, doing last minute crafting, like right last minute clothes making, right up until the end. So
Yeah, I think
that's
I
the way we
saw
have to do
on
it.
Be Real yesterday that you were finishing your bathing suit, maybe?
Yes, she's finished. I finished a bathing suit and I cut a second one. So yeah, I just, I really love bathing suit number one. Hold please, I'll bring her up to the camera. Bathing
Yeah.
suit number one is what we call in the biz a wearable muslin, because it's not perfectly crafted, but it fits really great, and it is made of this skull print fabric that is hilarious. And I
Yeah.
just was like, oh, I'll take it to camp. And I'm like, camp's pretty chill. You can wear what you want, but I don't know that I need the children contemplating Dia de los
They
Muertos
are
after they've been through
beautiful
so much already.
skulls. They are
They're very
beautiful
pretty
skulls.
skulls. I don't know. I'm back and forth, but seemed a little inappropriate. So we'll see. It does have a very nice a useless shelf bra inside. This does
Oh,
nothing.
useless? Oh,
Does nothing. But
no.
this is from Serena Patterns. I believe it is the Sharon swimsuit from Serena Patterns. Tommy Hernandez is one of the fabulous instructors at Camp Workroom Social, along with Allyson, and she specializes in swimwear. And I went to a talk of hers, and she gave me a lot of confidence to give this stuff a try. But so the sewing part wasn't too bad, but the fit definitely, I mean, it's magical. The way that like you cut just these 3 pieces of fabric and they just like cinch you in, which is great. But it really does just flatten the boobs like right to my chest. So this just does nothing. But live and learn. You
Does
live
it
and
keep
learn.
them up a little so they're not swaying to
makes
and
them
fro?
no, it makes them go way down. So it just looks like
No.
nothing. It's like a chest binder almost. So I try to kind of hoik them up, but so my next one that I cut, I'm trying to cut it just a little bit higher. And then I have an old bra that has disintegrated, but has the cup. It has like a foam cups. Kitty. Has foam cups that I'm just going to tack inside the lining and see what that does. Because why not?
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. So that's part of the last minute sewing I'm doing. I know you've got some last minute sewing plans as well.
I do.
Have you been sewing
haven't
away?
even looked at them. God, no. No, absolutely not.
No. You've been
Absolutely
knitting, right?
I've been knitting away. Yes, I've been knitting away. Roosevelt just looks like she is up to no good. She's very mad because I have taken away her chair, her sitting chair. That's right here. Well, Laura, you might know I'm going to be hosting a little gaming afternoon at my home.
Yes.
And so I put up my gaming table, and I had to take her chair away. So now she's looking to get cause some
revenge.
Problems. Yeah, revenge for sure. Kendra asked, do I hear cicadas in the background?
Not yet here.
No, I hear birds chirping.
Yeah, I have definitely seen them.
Cicadas total. 2.
Yeah, not a lot around in my neighborhood, a ton in Evanston, at Brooke's house. It's like insane. And his apartment building has like kind of stucco, like a really, I don't know, like really thick plaster that kind of comes to a point and it straight up looks like tree bark. They are all over the side of his building. It's fascinating. Super quiet so far, but that'll change, I'm sure.
Yeah, once they start rattling around. Yeah, Kendra, I think they're just infesting your memory. You just are hearing them, which is what I remember happening before. Just hear the noise constantly.
But right now it's eerily quiet, so I'm just enjoying like looking at the ground, seeing all the holes, like looking at all the little like crust, like the little shells everywhere. And then just kind of observing their behavior. But soon, one of the many reasons why I'm so loving not having a lawn in my life, the fact that I don't have to like get out there and try to mow, and I see all these videos of them like swarming people with their lawnmowers. No thanks.
I love that. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
cool.
Lawnmowers. I was out on
I'm
the porch
cool.
yesterday and I was like, man, this would be so much nicer if people stopped mowing for like 12 seconds of their lives,
Yeah.
just didn't mow their lawn. Just, I would love to just sit and not listen to a lawnmower. That'd be so
I
fun.
know. Well, then when they're not mowing, their air conditioning compressors are on. So,
Yeah,
it's never a
that's true too.
quiet
It's very
summer
loud.
in the
No,
city.
very loud.
So,
Hmm.
no mow May. There we go. Into it. But yeah, I am welcome cicadas. Welcome. I am think it's cool and interesting. I do not think it's like terrifying personally. And I know you've been on the hunt. Like you want to get on the map, right? Like you want to see more
Oh yeah.
cicadas.
I know. I've only
Yeah.
seen two. There are currently more trees down in my block than there are cicadas.
Yeah,
Because
that
of
is
some
true.
storms that went through a couple of days ago. And I was kind of hoping that those would like shake things into existence.
Yeah.
Rosie is also on the lookout for the cicadas as well. She can't find any either. But yeah, so far, no go on the cicadas, but yeah, I'm waiting for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura, I have been knitting like crazy.
Yeah, that's what I've
I
seen on Be Real. What have you been
Yes,
up to?
yes. Well, I finished. So last week I showed off a million pieces of my winter
Yeah,
sweater.
that's
And I
right.
finished it. And I've got it here, and she's beautiful.
Oh my God. This lighting is helping a lot more than our lighting at our kickoff Best Fest night when you were showing this. Oh, look at your buttons. And this is Erin from Kelborn Woolens. Is that what it's knit in?
Erin, yep, that's exactly what it is. It was
Oh,
designed by the Kelborn team. And yeah, I love
it's
her.
perfect. Yeah, it's
It's just
perfect.
barely 72 degrees. I feel like I won't die if I put this on. I am wearing shorts, so that will
Well, it
help.
looks
That will
so
help
great with
too.
your Liberty top. It is just
Yeah,
so
right? Look
cute. British
at this.
realness.
Yeah.
Oh,
So here's my winter sweater. Yeah, I like these buttons. I dug these out of the stash.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Every
so pretty.
detail perfect. And this is pieced? Is this pieced
Piece,
together?
yep, pieced together at the raglan. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, pieced here in this beautiful
Uh,
moss stitch situation. She's good.
stunning. Stunning. I love it so much. Wow, wow, wow.
So
Wow.
I
I
finished
mean,
that. I'm excited about it.
that is so much knitting, and I can't believe
So
it's all
much
assembled
knitting.
in a week. Like, yeah, there's the heart eye emoji we've been waiting for.
For
I
sure.
know that people are too stunned to speak in the chat, but it is amazing. And I heard that this might be a class. Is that
It
right?
will be a class. Yes, it will be a class. I'm moving forward to try. I'm knitting like crazy to try to launch 3 new classes
Dang,
mid-June so that
dang.
I can start them mid-August. That is a stretch goal.
Mm.
The other thing that I'm working on is this Paul Klee sweater.
Now
You can see
this,
see the exact line in which I have blocked and where I have not blocked this
yes,
yoke. Beautiful
it's
black
helpful.
yoke.
It's a helpful
Not,
demo.
yeah,
But I've
it's
heard,
very important.
speaking of helpful, I've heard that the pattern is not extremely helpful. So is primed for taking a class. Is that fair
Yeah.
description?
And
Yeah.
I put in my Instagram stories that I was like, this pattern is so wild. I cannot make heads or tails of this pattern. And got a bunch of replies right away where people were like, oh, yeah. Agreed. Hard agree. I have no idea what's going on in this pattern. It's so crazy. And I keep doing the thing where I'm like, you're just not getting it. Like, it can't possibly be that hard. And then I'll go back to the pattern and be like, no, this is crazy. This is like super insane. So yeah, I have worked through most of the yoke. I have figured out how it works. I have reconstructed an actual plan to help people knit this yoke. So yeah, I'm excited about this class.
Well, thank
too.
God then it's going to be a
I
class.
think
Thank
it'll
God.
be good. One of the people that I heard from, Laura, was our very own yoke queen herself, Leah.
Oh, wow. Leia knows her way around a yoke sweater. Let's be real.
Leah knows her way around a yoke sweater, and she swatched for Paul Klee for this year's yoke along. And it was not one of the yokes that she knit for yoke along because she's like, even though I made this giant swatch, I cannot make heads or tails of this insane pattern.
Whoa.
So that's how you know. And as soon as I heard that from Leah, I was like, okay, it can't be both of us.
No.
Like it can't, it just is ridiculously written. And very wild decisions were made in the translation of how to get through this yoke. So yeah, I'm excited about that class too, because I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with it, and get people some really beautiful yokes. Yeah.
Man, that is crazy. Well, we have a good question from Kendra. What do you like? What's your process for choosing patterns for new classes? Do you have specific criteria?
I really like just finding something that I want to knit, and then looking at the pattern to see if it can be broken into digestible chunks that make sense for both learning and knitting. Because some patterns I've done before that just aren't able to like snack size chunk up in a way that makes sense, or like it's a one trick pony, like there's really only one thing to learn, and then so there's not learning along the way. So yeah, learning along the way, different elements for lessons around the class, and then it always has to be something that I want to knit. So yeah,
that's
and
huge. Yeah,
because if I don't want to knit it, then I'm not going to knit it.
Right.
So I ask people a lot, maybe like twice a year, I put out a survey too, just to see what patterns are on people's radar. This Paul Klee pattern was always in that list like multiple times. So it's been on my radar for a couple of years. It seemed like it was just a yoke sweater. So I kept thinking like, what is special about this? I was like, okay, we can do color theory for sure, like what makes a beautiful yoke, what's striking about the color combinations, because that's challenging for anyone. I always feel like, Laura, do you feel like this too? Once you can pick 3 colors fairly easily, but as soon as you bring in a 4th or more, things get a little bit harder to see, you know?
For sure. Yeah, that's I mean, that's definitely the story of this fest. It took a while and a lot of re-swatching. But yeah, for sure. And you know, we have our resources that we've collected along the way, but it's been a long like a trial and error process for us. So I feel like that in itself makes the class worth it, because giving people like ways to think about things and talking about value and tra la la, it makes the whole process way less intimidating. So even if the pattern was perfect, you'd still have a lot to cover in that class.
Yeah, absolutely. And the pattern, it must work for how the designer's mind works, but that's definitely not how my mind works. And based on the people who have been messaging me, I'm not alone. So there's value in that too. But yeah, Kendra, that's how I pick classes, things that I want to knit, taking feedback from other students, and you know, people on the party, people who message me on Instagram about things that they're looking at, and then I put them all together, and there's always something that pops up that you're like, oh, I really like that. For the Aran too, the Aran yarn, that was a new yarn, so there were lots of patterns that came out. That's like an Aran weight yarn. That's a yarn thickness that I don't teach very often, so there's value in that too. Pieced cardigans, I've been getting a lot of requests for doing more cardigans. So yeah, I kind of, you know, take people's feedback and then you know, look use that to move forward. And then, yeah, if I don't like the pattern, then I'm not making it. And that happens sometimes. People are really excited about a sweater and it's just not connecting with me for some reason. Yeah. So
I have pretty much the same process. Except the one other piece that I take into account is I kind of look at style trends sometimes too. That's how I landed with zipper sweater, because that quarter zip has just been everywhere. And then I was like, and then interesting construction with the zipper, how you can install the zipper without having a sewing machine, all that good stuff. So that alone to me, like, appealed to me about the zipper sweater. So I knew that one was coming for this year back in the fall. But beyond that, yeah, it's a lot of requests and then what I want on it, you know?
Yeah. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping to do one more, this yoke went really quickly, and, as long as I can get through one more, at least yoke before we leave for Iceland, I feel like I'll be in good shape for at least being able to. The part of it's too is like, what is a good teaching cadence? How many classes should it be? You kind of have to get in there and knit it, at least through the challenging parts, to know, kind of anticipate how the teaching of it's going to go. So yeah, that's why I always dig into the pattern before I launch a class. I like to have a fully finished sweater most of the time before I launch a class, but sometimes that's not feasible. But especially with the yoke sweater, I feel like as long as I get the tricky parts, the yoke is going to be fine. I think this is going to be my Iceland travel project. Once I get the sleeves separated, I can just be knitting the body of that forever.
Nice.
But yeah, that's my plan. That's what we're working on.
I aspire to get to that level, but I usually knit the sweater along with the class. So
that's
just high stakes. It's high stakes.
That would be yeah, that would be stressful for me not to quite know what's coming around the bend. But even then, you don't always know what's coming around the bend the way it's either. Yeah,
and that it helps too when we teach the same designer over and over again. At least you kind of get a sense of the flow, like how they structure things and what their techniques are going to be sometimes. And then sometimes you're like, whoa, okay, what are we doing here? But yeah, it's eventually I would like to work ahead as well. That's always a nice. That's a stretch goal for me professionally. So
nice. Yeah, I feel like it might take your stress level down a little bit too.
But yeah. It's hard when I set it up that way to then take the time to, it's just it's hard to structure. There you go. It's a good idea, and it should be done that way if you're thinking of going to this business for yourself. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Get in there. Do it. No notes.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Yeah.
You'll love it. All right. Well, that's what I'm knitting. Laura, what's on your needles?
Well, I think, I can talk about since I just brought up the zipper sweater. She's ready to go. Tonight is our last class and we're installing our zippers together. So tonight we're putting our zipper in. I've got my facings pinned down, and I've done this nice contrast zip. It's contrast interior, so then when it like sits open, you can see a little pop of navy, which is
not the weird lace zipper that you were showing us last time. Yeah.
Oh, I've got it, but it's gonna get all munched up, so you won't see the lace. It'll be all inside this little facing, and then the only thing you'll see is just the little zipper. So it'll be easy to sew in with all those holes, and then this is what will be visible. And then when you unzip, the zipper tape gets munched up by the facing. So you just put it in between your sweater and the facing. And of course, because of the petite knit pattern, she wants you to match the inside facing perfectly to your sweater. And I'm like, I gotta have a little razzle dazzle here. So I popped in this little navy contrast facing. So then when I have it unzipped, you'll be able to see a little just a little peekaboo. So That's
I love
fun.
it.
Yeah, everyone's excited and has been very diligent about their homework. So we've separated for sleeves. And then this is the part where we're doing all together. Speaking of structuring classes, and then we just, then your assignment, once the zipper's in, you just gotta go knit the rest of this thing.
Yeah.
That's none of my boat. You gotta go.
Get knitting full. Yep.
Yep.
Save it for
So
September.
that's right. That's right. But yeah, it's been really fun, really motivating. And this ribbing, this is 8 3/4 inches of twisted ribbing. So it was a lot. And everybody has done a great job. So shout out to my zipper sweater class. That has been taken some time. And then my other thing on the needles, actually, we could do our next segment about party business because it's relevant to our latest knit along.
Well, Laura, do you have a vest that you're wearing?
I do. Well,
Vest
first of all,
Fest?
happy Vest Fest one and all. And we're not going to do that joke of happy Vest Fest to those who celebrate because everybody celebrates
Laura
Vest
will
Fest.
not hear it.
I am not this. You're taking the phrase "I'm not a vest person" out of your vocabulary. Why? Because we define vests so broadly in this knit along. You can find something that works for your knitting practice. Okay, vest person. What even is that? Let's leave that behind us. I don't need that kind of negativity. You are able to knit what you want here, but we are not shitting on vests because you probably are a vest person. You just don't even realize
You
it.
are.
So that being said, happy Vest Fest, Allyson.
Happy
And
Vest Fest, Laura.
I cast on my vest from yarn I picked up at Evanston Stitchworks. Here is the bottom of my vintage 45. Sorry, sporty 45. Sporty 45. I finished my stripies. It's in the lovely pistachio colorway of You So Sporty.
Oh, so
Shout out.
sporty.
It is so sporty. Shout out to Heather at UU Yarns, who kicked off this pattern, I believe, to celebrate her 45th birthday. And it's just like the perfect, especially these colors, if I do say so myself, extreme like 90s grunge vibes. I just love it so much. I'm re-listening to Weezer, old Weezer these days. Nothing past Maladroit, but I very much, thank you, Stepanka. I think it's great. And all of the interesting part, i.e. the stripes, are over now. So all I do is just knit green stockinette forever. So I wanted to get to this point because this is going to be a travel project for me in Iceland. That is just going to be a nice little throw in the bag. So now I've got my travel project solved. Woohoo. Plus I'm going to take another sock. Let's be real. Let's be real. You just gotta. So I'm pretty pumped about this, feeling very vest forward. And with having this on the needles, it's a great little television project.
It's very cute.
Yeah,
it's very cute. Very sporty. Oh, so sporty.
So sporty. Yeah. Tiny gauge, sporty. But that's all right.
Yeah.
Question for you, Allyson. I heard that you have Vest Fest plans this year as well. Do you have a swatch you could show us, perchance? No. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for talking to Vest Fest. Is it just like in the other planet, like in the other room?
No, I don't have a swatch. I have a sweater that I already knit.
Perfect.
I have yarn.
Was someone else had a swatch. That's so sorry. I forgot. I was too busy during our Vest Fest kickoff last Tuesday. Somebody has
patterns for the bundle.
Somebody has a green. Oh, it's Amanda has green sheep. It's very cool.
Yes.
But you
it's not me.
Have a vest.
I do not.
Swatch in your heart for.
I'm just, since I'm using the exact same yarn that I used for my sweater, I'm not going to knit a swatch because I already knit a swatch. It's the first sweater that I made for my black sheep sweater. And I am going to be using this spectacular Sunflower Heather I'm making a black sheep sweater vest. And I think it's going to be just Grello fabulousness. I'm going to use light gray for the sheep and then a charcoal gray for my black sheep. I think it's going to be so cute. So yeah,
I'm so
no
excited.
swatch yet. But
That's
I just keep
my bad.
snuggling.
Totally misremembered. But you have a swatch and it's called an entire sweater. So I feel pretty confident in your gauge.
I really did it. Yeah. And you know what I did not think about until this morning, Laura? I put together a newsletter. If you're on my newsletter, you would have gotten a little poke about my upcoming Black Sheep Sweater class that is starting in July. I put in a lot of projects that other knitters have finished over the last couple of workrooms.
So good.
I also shared the original inspiration for the Black Sheep Sweater vest, which was on Traders, the American Traders season 1. Kate from Below Deck wore this like bright Kelly green vest, Black Sheep Sweater vest, which was so cool. And I saw that vest and I was like, damn, I need a vest. And then I thought, actually, you should just make the sweater of this and teach other people to do it too, so you can have a whole army of Black Sheep Sweater knitters. So I did that, but now I'm coming back. This is a full circle moment for me, Laura.
Yes.
Now I'm going to get my vest.
Finally, you've earned it. You've earned it.
And Calborn Woolens just came out with non-heathered colors of their Scout,
which I can't help but think is in perfect timing for Vespa. I think that it was on purpose because you cannot think of better yarn to use for a vest. I mean, come on.
No, it's perfect for everything. I used it for I used the Scarlet Heather for my original Black Sheep Sweater, but they have a red that is way truer to the red that Princess Diana had for her sweater. So you could do like a true non-heathered red for your Black Sheep Sweater and get 15% off when you sign up for my class. Just giving a little plug since this is the business
sells itself.
Section. Yes,
sells itself.
We're talking biz anyway, so that's my biz.
I love it. I love being in your biz.
Heathered Scout, and knit yourself a Black Sheep Sweater class with me. It's great.
Yeah. I just wanted an excuse to show off my I designed my own vest reindeer fart sweater. I just love it. And the main color, the navy, is Scout Navy Heather and then the red is the Crimson Heather. So yeah, it's perfect. It goes so fast. And if you can save 15%, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. So yeah, whether you want to make a vest with me, so I'm going to be knitting along with that workroom and making my vest, talking about maybe shaping the shoulders a little bit more so that you don't have the quite such a drop shoulder that you need for the sweaters. Those are the kind of bonus things that I'm going to be talking about in this upcoming workroom. So those are my Vest plans.
Huge. I just love that. Well, and we also, kind of alongside Vest and part of Vest, we have a lot of people interested in tees, making summer tees. We have a whole maker work group going on Mondays right now where people are working on tees and or Stephen West projects, whatever. Our theme is very loose. But I have a class coming up in July, one of my most popular classes, the Friday Tee by Petite Knit. It's a tiny little sailor top. It's going to be all Wednesdays in July, and it is small gauge, super tiny, but it's great for accountability. We're going to talk accountability and that tricky fabric that we make with the half rib that it's knit in and what to expect. So it's a really great class, really popular class. And I hope that if you are not a vest person, which you're never going to say in my presence, that you might be a tee person, and that would be a perfect class for you. So take a look. That's an upcoming business for me, and it's also part of my Vest plans is to make a little tee. So
nice. Love it. Fun. Very fun. I wanted to circle back to your Half Zip Sweater, Laura. Are you going to be teaching that one again?
I think I'm going to have to. I think part of the being more like Allyson plan is to really finish this bad boy up. I do think as snoozy as this looks, as snoozy as it is to knit on the needles, this will be so cool when I can show off how great it fits. And then more people will want to take it. So yes, this is definitely coming back, along with another, oh my gosh, it just went right out of my brain. But yeah, I've got some fall plans, and the zipper sweater is at the top of the list. So yeah,
Nice.
it's coming back.
Good.
Yes.
Laura, you launched a dye studio this week as well.
Yes. We are partnering. So we've talked about our retreats for October. Sales are going great. We had our harvesting retreat sold out in basically an hour, which is so cool. And our knitting and natural dyeing retreat format is back with the wonderful Sarah Hansen. We're going back to our friend Dahlia, the house in Southwest Michigan that we love, and we are going to learn all kinds of dyeing techniques from Sarah. But if October doesn't work for you, if that is not, if you can't do a whole weekend, but you really want to learn how to dye and see if maybe that is something that would interest you as a hobby, we are doing an Indigo intensive at Sarah's home studio here in Chicago. So Sunday, August 18th, we are going to be doing a dye studio Indigo intensive at Sarah's studio. That is also the weekend of Michigan Sheep and Wool, and that Saturday we will be doing a meetup. So I'm committed. I'm doing both. I'm going to go to that meetup on Saturday, and Sunday will be at Sarah's. So if I can do it, you can do it too. And why not make it a twofer?
Did you say Wisconsin Sheep and Wool?
Michigan
Sheep and Wool. So this will be your first time going to the Michigan Sheep and Wool Festival.
It will. And I can make both of these things happen. And so I challenge you to do both. If you do twofer, it's a big weekend, but I believe in myself. I've thought about it, and I'm making the announcement now. So keep an eye out for meetup details. We're going to meet when the show opens at 10 Eastern. I scouted, there's multiple breweries in the area. And I'm also going to be in Southwest Michigan for my birthday this year in July. And so I'm going to personally check out those breweries and select one that we will attend after our shopping is over. So you can count on me for the quality and control, everyone. Nice. I'm on the case. But yes, we're going to do it. So talked about it. It was brought to my attention that it's the same weekend, and I said, great. Yes, and
let's do this
thing. A lot of exciting stuff for August. Yeah, a lot of exciting stuff. So yeah, Sarah, I'll see you there.
This has got to be very exciting for people because we've never really gone to the Michigan Sheep and Wool Festival before, but we've heard great things about it. So it's going to be exciting. I'm so excited to hear about it, Laura.
Yes, I'm very excited. And we talked about it in Wisconsin last year. We had such a great time, and we were like, let's check out Michigan this next year. And I will definitely be going back to Wisconsin, not this year, but it'll happen in the future. Y'all know I'm their queen. I love Wisconsin.
She's a Wisconsin 10, ladies and gentlemen.
That's true.
A Wisconsin 10.
That's true. That is true. Too juicy to not go to Wisconsin. But for this year, I've heard so many good things about Michigan, and it's a chill drive from Chicago, and I'm all about it. I'm gonna give it a look-see. That's what I'm gonna do. So that's
the best weekend ever, really.
It's very fiber forward. So there you go. And
who doesn't like that?
That's what I'm saying. So that's in the works. Keep an eye out for those meetup schedule. That meetup schedule will hop on the party tomorrow. So you'll keep an eye out.
Great. Laura, any other biz that you want to share?
One quick plug. We have also coming up in July, our joint taught Louise Pullover / Cardigan class, the Bobble class. Allyson and I are teaching this beautiful bobble sweater 2 different ways together. You all love when we teach classes together, and I have my swatches ready to go. I've cast on my neckline. That's pretty good, but is not a lot to show quite yet. But this class still has some room, and we've got a materials class coming up pretty soon in June. You can, of course, sign up after the materials class because it'll be recorded, but we would love to have more of you attend. So Bobbles, think about it.
Bobbles
Get up
for
into
days.
Yeah. So if you can't remember the name of that bobble sweater class, it is called the Louise Pullover / Cardigan. You can sign up for it at lauraallison.com. And now I'm really done with my business. That's my business.
So much business.
So much business.
So much business. So much business. Last week, all we talked about was Welcome to Wrexham, Laura.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is still great.
It's so good. Yeah, it really is. Guys, you should really check it out. Curious if anybody watching checked it out on our recommendation and is working along. But if not, that's okay. Just go watch last week and we'll talk all about it. I have been, but also last week you talked about, or I think it was last week, or maybe not. Maybe it's just our IRL friendship. But you have had these historic baseball games starting to appear on your Roku somehow.
Yes. I don't think I talked about this. I think I just started doing
this is my new favorite podcast. So that's what I wanted to turn you on. It's Allyson telling me about these magical baseball games. So Allyson, can you tell us a little bit more?
Yes, I can. So I have a Roku, and the Roku helps me play things on my television. And I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago, there was an update and Roku was like, Roku has live TV. And Shane and I were like, okay, I don't watch live TV. That's why I have a Roku. I don't understand what the point of view is. And I've never looked into it at all. Since baseball season has started, and I have MLB TV. It is an app on the Roku, and that helps me watch the Tigers because they are out of market and I can watch any baseball game, et cetera, et cetera. I pay a lot of money for this privilege. But last week, I've been noticing since baseball season started, there was an extra little icon on my Roku that was like, baseball is live now. And I've always just kind of ignored it. But last week I was like, you know what? I can't ignore this anymore. It was like Friday morning or something. And so like I knew live baseball was not on. And I was like, so what is it trying to tell me? So I clicked on it and it was like, watch this vintage baseball game. This like one of the we just play these great baseball games of old. And guess what it was? And I clicked it and it was like, you are watching the Yankees Mets from like 1974 or something. And
way before our time because we're very young.
Yeah, wasn't doing it. But I also wasn't watching that. I was not it kept telling me I was watching a game that I was not watching. I was watching the Dodgers. I was watching them play the Angels. It was obviously sometime in 2000. I was listening to Vin Scully. Like, I was like, why is it telling me that there's something on that I've obviously not seeing? But then it was like a mystery that I had to solve. Like, what game is this? Why is this a famous game? Like, what's going on with this game? So I got totally sucked into it. And now I always click that button to see what the hell's going on with this weird live Roku baseball channel. And so earlier in the week, it was Monday morning. I clicked on the TV and it was like live baseball. And I was like, okay. And I clicked it and it was the 2003 Cubs Mariners Bartman game. And it told me that's what the game was. It was definitely that game. And that catch, that like reach out, if you are not a Chicagoan, you might not have this burned into your skulls. But yeah, I
technically wasn't a Chicagoan at that time, and it's in there. Because
it was harrowing. It was like, the Cubs were in the playoffs. They were doing great. They were up in the game, and then this poor man reached into the field to try to catch a foul ball that could have been caught, whatever, by one of the fielders that would have been an out. But Steve Bartman was then like infamous in Chicago. And Jeb Bush, actually, Laura, do you remember this? Jeb Bush pardoned him and invited him to move to Florida. And he did. He moved to Florida because Jeb Bush invited him. And then, but it was so psychotic. And growing up in West Michigan, I would watch Cubs games and I would watch Tigers games because Cub games are usually on during the day and Tigers games were on at night. And so I was pretty close to the team. Like I was a big baseball fan even there. The way that the Cubs fans reacted to that circumstance was so insane. They were like murdering goats and stringing up their bodies. It was unhinged behavior. And I was like, I can't fuck with this. I can't fuck with these Cubs. And that was about a month after I moved to the city. So we haven't gotten along ever since.
Well, and at least you come by it honestly, which you're fond of saying about general fandom. There is a very excellent ESPN 30 for 30 about that. And with the literal inside baseball of like with the timing of events and how they had to put him in like protective custody in the Wrigley jail. And then they just were like, we're going to protect you until all these people leave, except they're going to leave and go outside. And then you're on your own. Like nuts. So nuts.
It was super crazy. And watching that play, like they're just playing the game. Like you're watching it in live time. And I happened to turn it on. It was crazy. About 4 minutes before it actually happened. And I was like, oh, the Cubs are up. What's going on? And I was like, oh God. It was like watching a train wreck. It was so insane to relive.
It's weird.
All of those things that were going on. What led up to that, how it played out afterwards. It was crazy.
It's like watching a horror movie and where the killer is,
And you're so uncomfortable. You're just like
you're like,
I was
that
just
man's
hysterical,
life
crying.
Is gonna change. And that was the thing about that 30 for 30, like how many times they would show it over and over again. And there's all those other people trying to go for the ball too. You know, it's like it could have been any one of them. Like,
and he just is sitting there the whole time. And then
with his little headphones on.
With his headphones on. And you can hear the guys in the booth and they're like, it seems like security is going over to protect that fan. And they're too just like, it's really not his fault. Like anybody would do that. It seems like the other fans around him are giving him a real hard time. That's not fair. Like you can hear them saying like, all the right things, which trying to ratchet it down, which is true, because watching it again, you see exactly how it played out. Like Mark Pryor was the pitcher for the Cubs and he was on pitch like 182. Like he should have been pulled way before that. Everything happened. And then the Marlin batters were all like ready to, win it anyway. I mean, they were just poised. Like it really had nothing to do with him. But Cubs fans are psychotic human beings. And they just were like, it's your fault. It can't possibly have anything to do with us. It has to be you. And so, they just fried that.
Because it wasn't the end of the series that day either, right? Like there was one more game left. Could have been more than one. Could have been one more game.
Exactly.
Anyway.
I remember moving to Chicago right before that happened, and Rod Blagojevich, who was the guy then, I was watching an interview with him, and I thought that was the dumbest man that I've ever seen in my life. He just kept being like, well, we just have to get one win, and then we'll get 2 wins. And that'll be great. And then we can get 3 wins and then we'll win. And I was like, where the fuck have I moved?
Clearly in the wrong career. That is excellent coaching from former Governor Rod Blagojevich.
They cut away from him. And I was like,
I can't believe Stepanka's still watching. She's like, who are these people?
Blagojevich in jail.
What's in Illinois? Fuck this. Yeah.
It was wild. It was crazy.
Oh, he's out of jail. Like, he runs around. I see him jogging. He jogs around this neighborhood to this day, just hoping someone's going to recognize him. With that silver hair.
God.
He's dying to be recognized. Not giving it to him. keep running.
Holy shit, Rob Blagojevich. Yeah, that's wild. That was wild. So yeah, so these are the kind of things. They're on a kick. I've been hitting it. I hit it now every single time. I'm like, what's coming up? What's doing it? And now they're just doing a lot of old home run derbies, which are not fun.
Oh, that's too bad.
So I know. I'm excited for them to get back into the games.
It could be fun to be like, remember him, but you play your baseball immaculate grid every day, so you're doing that.
Yes,
all the time.
I do. I know all these fools. But yeah, well, thank you. I'm glad you like my new podcast, Laura. This is
it's great.
From here on out.
It's great.
Yeah.
My culture corner is so niche, so I'll keep it short because I don't know. I enjoyed it, but everything I'm about to describe is not for Allyson, so I'll try to keep it short. But I have been watching a lot of stuff. Consuming a lot of stuff from Asia, so or with roots in Asia. So I have been checking out oh my gosh, I keep forgetting the name. Oh goodness, but there is a new show on HBO. Somebody help me out. It's about the Vietnam War and about a double agent who is secretly working for the North Vietnamese, but he is high ranked. Thank you, The Sympathizer. Jesus Christ. The Sympathizer, and it's based on a series of novels, but it is about this guy who is very high up in the South Vietnamese military, but is actually secretly a spy for the North Vietnam, and it starts with the fall of Saigon, and he is assigned as a spy to follow the general who is flying out of Vietnam to America, and he is supposed to go with him and continue to spy, and it's so fascinating and it's like funny and really dark.
Vietnam's my fourth favorite war. Of course,
I know. But it's real dark. And then they get to America, and the downside is Robert Downey Jr. is in it playing 3 different roles. And there's one point, I know, that's why it's not for Allyson. And at one point they all go to dinner together. It's tough. And so there's a lot of that, a lot of like, look at me acting, which I could do without. But the Vietnamese cast is so strong. And then they get to California, and there's a lot of good, like, aren't white people just stinkeroo? A lot of good that. And he meets Sandra Oh, who is playing a Japanese American woman. And they start a little relationship. But I saw an interview with the cast, and the lead actor, and who speaks perfect English and is also communicating half of his lines in Vietnamese. He's doing an interview with Sandra Oh. She's talking, saying brilliant things. And then he starts talking. He's got an Australian accent. This man is speaking 2 languages and doing an American accent. I'm like, you're the smartest person I've ever seen. Wow. I can't believe this. So that's really something. The clothes are great. Sympathizer, very, very compelling and good. And then I started reading a memoir from a woman whose mom was Vietnamese, a Vietnamese immigrant who ran a nail salon, and it's called The Manicurist's Daughter. And that is fascinating and sad, very sad, but very fascinating. Her mom dies at 38 because she's getting a tummy tuck, and it's all about the beauty industry, but also the American dream. Very interesting. Manicurist's Daughter. Love, love, love. And then I also went and saw a movie on Saturday night, and it is called Evil Does Not Exist. And that is a Japanese film, and it's a thinker. So if anyone has seen Evil Does Not Exist and wants to talk about it with me, that is pretty much all I talked about with Brooke all day Sunday. So I think I know what happens, but you tell me. So Evil Does Not Exist. Would recommend, but maybe wait till it's not in theaters because it's a longie. So you can breaks. I recommend breaks for Evil Does Not Exist. So.
Well, I'm also watching very, very interesting, thought-provoking art.
Yes, tell me.
Bridgerton season 3 landed. Boom.
That's why I kept it short. Nobody cares about all this other bullshit.
No, they
Tell them
don't.
about
Not when
tell
it's
them
just
about
bodies
the
having
Bridgerton.
sex constantly.
Tell them about it.
Bridgerton is so weird to me because I did not, when Bridgerton first came out, I was like, this is not for me. Bridgerton season 2 came out, and so many people that I really respect their opinion said that actually Bridgerton is really good and fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's the part that I think is key when you're looking at just like trashy silliness. Nobody in Bridgerton is taking themselves seriously, and I just really appreciate that because so many people take themselves way too seriously.
True.
And you just want to watch like something like fun, and everyone's like thinking they're reinventing the wheel, and it's so frustrating. And so it's kind of refreshing to watch something as like innocently so silly and stupid, but with a little heart of gold sprinkled in with really hot people having sex. So I love Bridgerton. I'm not ashamed to say it. And the first part of season 3 popped last week, and I watched it, and that just made me want to watch the whole thing again. So I started her over. I'm having a great time in between wild, weird baseball games I'm seeing on Roku Live. So that has been my life recently, Laura.
Sounds great. We're on different paths, but then we can just supplement each other's media. And I think that's why the partnership is successful.
Exactly. I think so too. You know, you gotta mix it in. I feel like I've started a few things that I had recommendations for, but it was just like so just like it just wasn't hitting. Like a lot of it just wasn't hitting for me. It just like very serious, very like
there's a lot of that out there right now.
I just don't have the energy for it. Yeah, I just don't have the energy for it. I just give me fun. I need another season of Great British Baking Show. You know, I just like British people like having a good time. That's kind of where my energy is right now. So I'm excited for the second half of season 3 to drop in a couple of weeks. That's where I'm at with it. Bridgerton and baseball. What else?
I know you're not alone. So we're wrapping up strong with crowd pleasers for sure. So I know that people are pumped about their Bridgerton. So I'm excited to see the conversation develop over in the Culture Corner at LauraAllison.party.
Yep. Get it. All right. Well, Laura, we are not going to be back here for a long time because like we said at the top, you are off to Hoosier Burn Camp next week. Right. And then we are going to be in Iceland forever. Yeah. So we will not be doing this year program until June 20th.
Yes, but boy, will we have a lot to tell you. And there were plenty of ways to keep in touch with us in the meantime. So check out LauraAllison.party. If you're watching this on YouTube and you've made it this far, you should be a member of LauraAllison.party. Just $5 a month, get your ass over there. If you check, we will be active on the gram. You will see lots of cool updates from our upcoming adventures, and of course, we will keep the party posted first on all of the goings on. So that is where you can find us.
Always. All right, everyone. Have a good month. And we'll see you soon.
Happy Memorial Day. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Bye.